What up, everybody? Welcome back to ALLSMITH. Today's guest is one of the most respected entrepreneurs and voices in the fitness industry. His impact has stretched from building iconic brands to helping millions embrace discipline, strength, and intentional living. He's done some really cool things, from co-founding MusclePharm, creating Max Effort Muscle, and of course the legendary 4 a.m. crew, which he flexed on me a second ago and said he does not miss Monday through Friday. He spent decades proving that success isn't built in the spotlight, it's earned in the dark. Ladies and gentlemen, Cory Gregory. Welcome to the show, man.
That's an amazing introduction. Got me kind of choked up a little bit, Bryce. It was pretty amazing. It's wild because, like I mentioned before we got on air, I've been doing this legitly since 1999 as a professional, when I had never really met anybody that had a job like this in the late 90s in coal country, Ohio. And then when you hear things like that, you just go, it's amazing what's possible when you are not talented, but extremely consistent and have an unwavering belief in what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to impact people. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I'm jaw dropped at the alignment that we both have. You're significantly further along than I am, so you're definitely somebody that I'm gonna grab on to the little binoculars and keep an eye, and because you're paving the way, man. And I've always been a believer, especially since jumping into entrepreneurship, that do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. And that's an Emerson quote that
Nipsey said there's
has
no
always
traffic in your own lane, Bryce.
Ooh, I like that. Well said. Something I've thought about, though, is my dad was always like an avid weightlifter in our garage. And then right outside the garage, we had like the traditional basketball hoop. So I had like this great dosage of fear, like, hey, if I miss, I'm going to hit dad in the garage while he's got, heavy weight over his chest. So I became a very good shooter out of fear. And then also watching him, like, he had this protocol where, like, every day when he got home, he went straight to his room and changed into a white V-neck, some sort of like athletic shorts, athletic shoes, came out to the garage, and it was like clockwork every day, right around that 3:30 to 5 p.m. slot. And he always trained. And I just remember as a kid, I tried to emulate him a little bit. And then fast forward a little bit, I was like, all right, like, I'm going to go to school for this. I'm going to learn some of this stuff in kinesiology, exercise physiology, and biomechanics. And then, like you, man, I was like, I just want to lift weights and get paid.
Facts.
And my mom was always like, you probably need to become a physical therapist. Like, you probably need to do these things with credentialism. And, dude, I was just kind of like, fuck that. Like, I want to lift weights and get paid. And fast forward to when my mom passed in 2024, we were just having conversations in the ICU. And she goes, Bryce, I don't know how you did it. I don't totally get what you do, but you're working out and helping people, and you're getting paid. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So when I've heard you talk about, hey, that was your goal, coming from coal mining, Ohio, and just like the land of what the world modern day knows as rogue, but you did it before rogue was mainstream. Yep. You just want to lift weights and get paid, man. Where did that kind of come from, and where did that get instilled in your value system?
It's a great question, because it was always a hobby within my family. My dad kind of looked like Super Mario, kind of a stocky Italian dude, always lifted weights. My uncles, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. So the kind of story goes is my great-grandfather, Joseph, and my great-uncle, Isaiah, died in a coal mine explosion in 1935. They were on the same shift. And shortly after that, they made a rule that you can't work on same shift as your other family, because this is what happens. Then all of a sudden, you've got the whole family has no, like, adult men, right? And so he was already teaching my grandfather how to lift weights at 9 years old. And my grandfather's the one that taught me. And then I saw my dad lifting as I grew up too. So it was always a thing, was like coal mining, hard work, lifting. That was like a basis. So a lot of people don't realize that I'm a fourth generation lifter and coal miner. I just happen to be the first person to take it out of the hobby and into the job. And I just think the pain, and I'll use that word because that's what I saw, of people disliking long-term what they were made to do or had to do to survive in my environment. When coal mines on strike, my mom's waiting tables. You know, I was my dad split when I was 11. I live with my mom, so she's a single parent, you know, just struggling to make the trailer rent at $150. And I'm just watching, and I just was so fed up with multiple things. One, that we just didn't really have enough to go around. Two, that I didn't understand it all the way, but I didn't learn traditionally. I was an entrepreneur, but didn't really understand that yet because I didn't do very well in anything structured, like anything. And then so I thought it was dumb. I didn't realize how smart I really was, right? Because it was just application in the wrong thing. And then just like I wanted to love what I do. And I just think that those other generations had so much of that pain that it spilled over with me. And I almost
feel like it was such a beautiful spot because
Yes.
you're in this spot right here of, I know I don't want this.
Facts.
I don't want to struggle to make the rent. I don't want to experience the pain that I'm seeing my mom experience over here, working double shifts and doing whatever she needs to do to pay the rent. But then also it's this feeling of, I'm not good enough. I need to be better to be over here. And when you're in the middle of those two, in some ways it could be viewed as just like the land of mediocrity where you could be stationary. But if you can allow this side to push you and this side where you can chase, now it's this beautiful land of opportunity.
Well, and Bryce, I was always kind of naturally a daydreamer, and I think that comes with being an entrepreneur. You know,
Yes.
I just think I never really liked authority. I always I was like old school, like selling baseball cards and stuff. Like I was into all that stuff, like naturally, right? So I didn't really realize that I didn't really understand the signs. I can see that a mile away now because I understand it, right? Like in my own kids. But the thing is I was just like, there just has to be I'm seeing a few entrepreneurial families. And I'm like, this just looks so much different. This looks so much more like this is what I want. And so I started coming up with this narrative in my head. What happens if I could own my own gym, literally lift weights and get paid? And the major one that I think was a huge part of this process. I started coming up with the idea that when I was done with my life's work, everything would be different forever. That I was going to be the rich grandpa, uncle, dad, whatever you place that in my family tree that was like, yo, what that dude did, it changed everybody's life. And about 15 years old, that's when I started thinking like that. Like, how can I be like this guy's grandfather that changed everything and this guy's uncle? Like, somebody has to shield all that. And I think that zero to that first whatever nominal amount of money or wealth or understanding, financial IQ, all that, like, I've thought it would take my entire life. And to some degree, it is a lifelong situation, which is why I was just dug in, bro. I was just dug in for this is what my, true why is that I'm going to represent that for my family for generations. It's a true change of financial IQ, understanding, and wealth building. And, I didn't really know all the way what it looked like, but I was setting out for that like relatively young. It might have sounded a little different then, but that's now that I could make sense of it. That's what I was feeling, because I would find myself admiring a few people around town that had some stuff on that, like going, I was very few people at that spot. But then I was like, man, I just been literally on fire. And then I also recognize patterns really well. And I think that's why consistency makes a lot of sense to me. When I started recognizing alignment and patterns and momentum and things that I was doing that other people weren't willing to do, that might have been talented or had more gifts than me. And I just identified some of those things early in my career. And then I just truly doubled down on being a reliable person that people know what they get. You knew I was going to be here today. You know what I'm saying? When you did it, you knew that I was going to, I'm just that person because I've built that person over time. And that's what people want to work with. And the longevity of my career and the ups and downs, I think, have a lot to do with that type of operation.
This episode is brought to you by ALLSMITH. If you've been listening for a while, you know this is bigger than just workouts. At ALLSMITH, fitness is the vessel. Life is the true mission. We help people upgrade not just their body, but their routines, their mindset, their energy, their confidence, their relationships, and their overall direction. Some people work with us in person through coaching, through accountability, through movement, through community, and through real human connection. Others choose to work with us online from anywhere in the world through customized programming, lifestyle design, habit building, check-ins, support, and a system built around your actual life. Because the goal isn't perfection. The goal is creating a life that feels aligned, resilient, energized, and truly sustainable. If you feel stuck, if you've been putting yourself absolutely last in all the things in your to-do list, if you want support, structure, accountability, and community that genuinely gives a damn, ALLSMITH might be your next step. Movement is the entry point. Your peak expression is the destination. Head over to allsmith.co or shoot me a message on Instagram @TheRealBryceSmith, or shoot a message to our team @AllSmithCo, and let's build something beautiful. I am angry that I haven't met you sooner, because the way you're communicating is the way I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But in my juvenile landscape and being a decade plus behind you is just like, dude, the land of consistency is numero uno. The compliance is the science. And seeing how consistent you are, you talked about being reliable, like, especially in the fitness industry, man. I can't speak for Ohio, but I'm assuming there's a lot of strength and conditioning out there, especially because of Rogue and West Side and all those things.
Arnold Classic.
But in San Diego, man, like it's a beach town. Everybody's got their shirt off. People drive past 30 to 40 gyms just to come see me. So I hold a personal responsibility of like, wow, like I want people to have an experience when they come here, and that experience is not so much going to be this fun, jovial thing. It's like, no. You're going to be underneath the anvil, underneath heat, becoming the person that you're supposed to be in pursuit of your peak expression. And something about the way you described the simplicity of consistency, the simplicity of showing up, the simplicity of being on time, the simplicity of being reliable. The world sometimes looks at that and it's like, yeah, that's a given. But most people, I would say 99% of people, don't do any of those things. They do them some of the time.
Bro, I beat people every fucking day because of that. And I know it, and I can see it in their eyes. And I've told people that come to see me before that are way more gifted, listen, you're young, you're gifted, you have a lot of ahead of you. If you don't get these few things together, I'll beat you every fucking day. It's just the truth. It's that black and white. Like, because I'm intentional learning at the same time as I'm being consistent. I'm doing these things to progress my career. I still look at myself as the guy in the trailer. So that's what people don't realize. I might have Muscle Island and these certain things going on, but I don't see that when I get up. I recognize the progress I made, but I'm a different kind of dude because of my experiences. That's why even as a parent, I try to express to my kids, like, you're not going to be starving like a caged animal like I was, because that's exactly what it was. But you can still be hungry for what you want to build in your own way and build on top of the foundation that I've created. And now we have financial IQ and we understand what time it is. We understand what's required. You can still be hungry for what your situation is, but it's impossible to have the same experience as me. I can't replay that. Like, there's only one person that had to go through that, and that happened to be me. And I don't want to create these other situations for them. Like, a lot of second generation money starts to happen. Like, I'm trying to get ahead of that and be like, no, I did all this so I can support your version of this. And then we're building and then stewarding the wealth in a proper way with actual fucking work. And so, like, I'm trying to learn from how there's been missteps in this, second situation, and try to articulate like what I really like am about and why I did this and what they can represent as that next situation, ongoing. So yeah, I
like that you reference, I went through your Instagram quite a bit, and I like that you reference situation, because it tells me that you have the ability to observe the specificity of what people are going through. So it shows that you have empathy and compassion. Definitely. But it also shows that you understand that humans and situations are malleable. The work works. If you put in the work, you take care of what's needed to be taken care of, you show up consistently, And that starts with your health. That starts with your mindset. That starts with confidence. Confidence is not something, you hear this all the time on podcasts and like cliche Instagram posts or X posts or Threads posts, where people are just like, confidence is not just shouting affirmations in the mirror. It's proof of concept that you are who you say you are. And what I'm hearing from you is a lot of conviction, because you've done this consistently since 1999.
Yeah.
That's a few decades of reps now where it doesn't matter what somebody else does. It seems really cute if somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm going to catch you. I'm going to do the thing. You're like, okay,
I use
good luck.
Cute a lot.
Yeah.
Because I know who I am. I knew who I
Yes.
was back in the day. And the reality is I just over time developed that person. I see, this is what is funny to me. Like a lot of times I can feel it on people when their confidence ain't real, Bryce, because mine is, because it is earned. And it has been starting from not just the bottom, underground, the bottom 600 feet, like going through ups and downs in business and having to stand up, working with my idol, and then him helping me, like even just looking at me, like, you know, as I was rebuilding new stuff, like I've been in all the rooms. I've experienced it. So I have like
I'd even reframe that, Cory. You've not just been in all the rooms. You chose to attend all the rooms.
Yeah.
You chose to be an active participant. And in a world that's full of fucking consumerism, where everybody wants to doom scroll and not actually show up, you show up. And so where I really want to like steer the conversation a little bit is, you know, you're somebody that has done the work. I can feel it. Like you talked about, like game recognized game. And like, I remember running the Santa Monica stairs, puking my brains out, running the Manhattan Beach sand dune. Like, I wake up as the guy that's like, oh yeah, he knows the offense really well. He's a great shooter, but he's not that athletic. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to become athletic. I'm going to figure out how to fill the gap. I'm going to figure out how to be at the right place at the right time and beat you to the spot by taking better angles. And I'm going to become more athletic by simply studying the craft and putting in the work. And that's how I wake up. So every day, like, what do they say? Chips on shoulders, put chips in pockets.
Facts.
I think you and I are kind of cut from the same cloth there. And something that stands out to me is just like modern day, man, everybody's got a phone. Everybody's trying to be a social media influencer, and they're trying to show the six-pack abs. I mean, every time I go to the gym, somebody's like Instagram living their workout, or they're doing something to try to portray this is how you get the thing. But it's not like real work. It's fake work. And it's like aesthetic type things. And in my brain, I'm like, dude, if you push, you pull, you hinge, you squat, you carry things, you do some monostructural, and as you would say, lunge your face off.
Facts.
It's like the work works, bro. What's going on modern day where people don't want to work, man, in a land of GLP-1s and just like trying to paint this facade on social media that's not real, because it's driving me nuts over here.
Yeah, bro. Like, especially because I'm lifetime drug free. I don't mess with any peptides, nothing, right? Like I've been supplements, training, application all this time. So I've kind of carried that torch, you know, especially as a guy who was able to be on covers of magazines when drugs have been prevalent in the industry for so long. And I just believe that's part of why not, like my stuff is for like anybody, but it's not for everybody because I'm telling them the truth. Like you're not gonna be able to fucking walk for 12 days when you go lunge 400 meters, especially if you've been sitting on your fucking couch. You have to get up earlier and actually fucking care about what your preparation is. You have to look at it almost like it's your job to actually be not a fucking brain fog mess all day. And you have to keep showing up. And it's not okay that you drink on Wednesday. And you shouldn't eat fucking pizza on Tuesday because you feel entitled to it. Like there is things that just are what they are. And I'm the fucking truth teller. And then, you know, some people want that and some people don't. And so the reality is, though, a lot of my customers and my community have been riding with me for a long time. I've made some and helped create some dramatic changes in people's lives, the way they operate, their confidence they built, the success they've had in business because of it, or just life. And because I think I've showcased the ups and downs and being a parent and all of these things, like I have a different kind of like, you know, relationship with my base that's been around with me for a long time, because they done seen it, because I do live it, and I think showcase what it actually takes. Like, and that reliability, because they can go, and I've had people like, they feel like they're cheating on me. They'll go over here, oh, well, this supplement company and this influencer said this. None of it was actually true. I'm back, G. Yeah, well, I didn't go nowhere. Because it's still true. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, so it is like a little bit upsetting from time to time. But once again, I've never really paid attention to anyone else. Arnold was the GOAT to me. Louis was the GOAT to me. I worked with both of them personally. Even when we were building MusclePharm, we looked at Gatorade and Nike. I never look at other supplement companies. So even now, like, I've been running my own race. That's a reason why I love Carnegie. I like Nipsey Hussle. I like all of these people that I study. They're all individuals, man, and they believe in themselves. They develop themselves. That's what they put out to the world. And like, people just, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it or be someone else. I'm really good at being me. And you either fucking love it or you don't.
We're very, very similar in that way. Like, the Nipsey Hussle drop just now was
so good.
Grinding on my life.
Yeah.
Hustle, sacrifice,
So
pay the
good,
price. Bro. Like, it's just one of those things, man, that's just, there's a Michael Jordan book. I think I saw it at Barnes & Noble when I was in high school. And it said, on the cover, it was like a picture of him with his shirt off. And it said, driven from within. And I just remember every night I had a VHS player in my room, and I used to put in Michael Jordan tapes just on repeat.
Love it.
And I always just thought, like, I'm going to outwork them. Nobody else is doing push-ups right now. Like, I liked doing it either in the early morning or the late night. Because I was like, everybody else is craving comfort right now. They want the ice cream. They want, the morning pancakes. Like, I want push-ups. I want air squats. I want pull-ups. And something about that gave this intrinsic value of, like, it's a mystery looking forward, but it's science looking back. I don't know if the work's going to work, at least when I was young and performative that way. Now I'm like, oh, if you put in the work, it pays off in ways that are unimaginable in who you become. And downloading and instilling those values into people, like you said, giving them the truth, it's monumental, man. However, what I'm curious about from your perspective, especially modern day, because like the 90s and the early 2000s, people weren't soft. You could give them the truth, and you could kind of like take a hammer and a chisel and mold them a little bit.
Direct.
It could be a little offensive.
Yeah.
Modern day, everybody's offended. There's legalities everywhere. And honestly, I view myself as like a coach that really cares, someone that gives you the truth, someone that's going to hold you accountable. Sometimes I'm an asshole though, but I'm an asshole because I care, and I'm willing to have the hard conversation, not because I'm an asshole, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
that style of coaching, real, exactly, REAL over REEL. Yeah. However, that style of coaching is not always marketable. And so I'm curious, like we talked about, like, hey, I want to lift weights and I want to get paid. Mm-hmm. But sometimes there's an art to the magic where you have to customize your approach to meet the situation or to meet the person where they're at in order to create buy-in. And then over the course of time, you can create and elicit better change. How have you kind of navigated your approach within the industry to meet social media, for marketing, to meet people where they're at? So you're not pushing people out the door. You see their potential, but you also are trying to like hold the standard. This episode of ALLSMITH is brought to you by our friends over at Kalo and their new smart ring. I've been wearing the Kalo smart ring the past few months, and I love how simple it is. It seamlessly fits within my lifestyle and is not invasive into any elements of my life. It tracks my sleep, my movement, my heart rate, my HRV, my stress, my body temperature, and it gives you real awareness around your lifestyle and how it's impacting your recovery and performance. What makes it perfect for me is simply the versatility. I can wear it while coaching, while training, while working, while sleeping, or just living life, and it quietly collects the data in the background. And the best part is it's under $200 and there's zero subscription. No monthly fees, no gimmicks, just clean, affordable health tech. Head over to kalo.com/allsmith and use code ALLSMITH at checkout to get your discount. You can also find it at select Walmart stores and at walmart.com. Now let's get back to the show.
Well, what's interesting about my age demo that really fucks with me, Bryce, is it's 25 to 35. You would think it's older, but it's not. It's because when I was the most popular, all of that group was in college, basically, because of MusclePharm days, right? So what's interesting about it is I'll be 48 this year. You know, the last 2 years I've transitioned away from powerlifting and more into I do pump 30 workouts and stuff that are, they're still really difficult. I'm just not competing anymore. And then I'm lunging after. So it's just good time, but it eerily aligns with somebody that does not do this for their living that's 30. And so once again, I'm aligned with my demo for a different reason. My reason is I'm been competing since 1997, all the way till I was 44. I did my last powerlifting meet where I squatted 694 at 181. And my body's just,
shit.
Yeah, my body's just, I had number 2 all-time squat, multiply. And so with drug tested. And anyway, so it was those things now it's the person that still cares about their health, has their job, white picket fence, 2.3 dogs, 2.1 kids, they need it in 30 minutes plus a conditioning that they can do at their house. And now I'm realigned with you still can't miss. It's still 5 days a week, but it's a reasonable situation that you got no choice not to do it. And I'm also giving them, I give away cars and Rolexes and all kinds of stuff at the first of the year on transfer. I'm giving them dates on the calendar. I'm creating the process that made me successful for my people. And I'll tell you what it was. I trained for something from 17 years old to 44 years old, multiple times a year. I had powerlifting meets, bodybuilding shows, covers of magazines. Every quarter, each year, multiple times a year. I competed 30 times in powerlifting, done at least 10, 15 shows. I did 13 covers. I always was I always had a date on the calendar. My entire adult life, I had a locker room with my guys at the gym. I had competition with the industry and myself, and I had things on the calendar. I create in-person events. Some of them are competitions for my customer base. They come here to the island, to the office, whatever we have. We just had the Muscle Island Olympics in July. We have the contest where I give a car and a Rolex away at the first of the year. I'm creating the same strategy for them so they have a date on the calendar. They have the proper goals. They have the information to be able to get them and push them along in their lives, because they have the most resistance right now as ever, because life is getting more difficult. There's more excuses. There's more things going on. They're getting caught up by vices. So eerily now, I'm probably the most realigned, mostly because of my age and my competition, but it's once again aligned with who follows me probably the most. And they know I live it. So it's if I actually follow this, G's the proof. We've seen him be 220, powerlift. We've seen him cut back down and come to this. I let it get away from me this year, and I'm real open about it, man. I was trying to go to 200 and heal up some of my lower body injuries I had. I ended up at 216 in January. I was 183 today. I'm 117 days lunging. I'm back, it's they're watching the process, and I'm honest, it took a little longer this time because I'm closer to 50 than 40. You know what I mean? So it's I think I just have done the most authentic version of what I'm doing and try to do my best job on presenting that to the world. And the people that will lock on will be, I think, forever changed if they do. That's how I've really looked at it. I don't really have a set strategy. I'm just capturing what I do and who I am, and hopefully at a level that it locks on with people. And my son's helped me a little bit with social media, with how we should cut up the clips and the things of that nature. But other than that, man, I'm honestly just capturing who I am and what I do.
I like that. It's kind of like the Cam Hanes approach. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Facts.
And yeah, the two of you guys are just go-getters, especially as you're approaching 50, man. I'll definitely be transparent. I was probably the fittest I've ever been in around 28 to 29.
Mm-hmm.
And then some injuries kind of grabbed a hold of me. My capacity was really good. My skill is what started to decline in my 30s. just certain joint structure like muscle ups, snatching, clean and jerking. Some of that stuff started to decline as I started to get older. And now in my mid 30s, I might be the strongest I've ever been as far as squat, deadlift, and press or bench press. And so it's a very interesting dichotomy how the joint structure. We've had Joel Seedman on the show a few times, and he's all about that 90-degree muscle contraction, which you've probably seen before. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because it's like, I don't necessarily subscribe to that. I don't think it's the answer to the world's problems. But it is an interesting perspective of like joint angle when you look at Olympic weightlifting, like a front rack position is not comfortable for most people, dude, especially as you get older. But what I'm hearing from you is that you've shifted your approach a little bit. You're staying consistent, but you're not marrying yourself to, back in the day, I was able to do X, Y, and Z. You're marrying yourself to, this is me now. Yeah. I have the capacity and the capability to do simple things like lunge. And so the reason why I bring that up is that I battled that for like 2 to 3 years of like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, doing what I was doing in my 20s and my 30s. When life got more challenging, when I went through job stress, breakups, injuries, financial distress, now it's like there's a semblance of a surrender where like I'm not surrendering the standard. I'm not surrendering the work ethic. But I am surrendering certain complexity to marry myself to the simplicity because it's sustainable over the course of time. I'm curious to pick your brain on some of that psychology for other people that are maybe a little bit lost in training or in exercise selection.
I had a real problem with this because of being a competitor for so long. And I love when the bar's loaded and no one can fucking save you. It's like my favorite thing, bro. Like I fucking love that part. That's why I love going to
sink or swim.
Yeah, I love that whole situation. But the last main contest I did a dual event. And I've done this a couple times, but I did, bodybuilding show on Saturday and then a powerlifting meet on Sunday. And I've done where I did Olympic lifting Friday, a bodybuilding show Saturday, and powerlifting meet Sunday before also. So I've done what I call the muscle trifecta. And I've done dual, and I got 4th in the bodybuilding show, and I thought I had a world record like in my category for the powerlifting, but actually we read the kilo chart wrong, and I tied the guy, and he weighed less than me like 10 years previous when he did 694. So I actually got 2nd, which fucking sucked, but that's beside the point. Anyway, my point is that I really struggled with this because I wasn't able to do what I used to do, even just the training all the way across the board. So I always felt less fulfilled daily. And it really just made me more mad. So I really had to have a look at myself and say, what can I do and how healthy can I get so I can just push again within whatever that new situation is? When I made a reason with that, and then like, for instance, like I've lunged 100 and today was day 117. The only reason why I don't have a 5,000 day lunge streak is because during competition, I would get dinged up and have to take breaks from time to time. But I deadlifted 455 at my event. I hadn't deadlifted in like 2 years. And so the reality is I'm still fucking strong. I know it's there. I just can't go to the well all the time like I did in the conjugate method where I was pulling, once a week for years at a time and all that stuff. And so the reality is like I just had to reason with what I can run from, because dude, I didn't even start squatting every day till I was 35. All of that content you remember me from, I started MP when I was 30. I started squat every day when I was 35. I started lunging at that time, like 32, 33. So like a lot of these protocols that had high volume were after I tore my labrum in my hip and after I was already in my mid 30s. And then I hit a whole nother like realm of strength, opportunity, exposure because of those crazy things I was doing. Not because I was the best in the world, just because I was doing them and had a platform and was documenting them and was about it. And so like, I'm always in this weird like vortex of like, am I giving into easy? Or is this just what the new situation is? That is the new standard, the new thing I can push on. I wrestled with that for a while, but then I think the answer has been really clear lately because I'm growing again. My impact is there. My alignment's there. My body feels really good. I feel the best I've felt in a couple of years. If I want to go play basketball or go deadlift 455, I can. I think I'm going to look awesome between 48 and 50, to be straight with you. And like, I'm really excited about like, and optimistic about the people I can impact, because I've just been proving this, my protocols to be true for so long now. It's kind of undeniable. Like, I'm getting a lot of like OG kind of, references now, because I've just been doing it for literally as long as some people have been alive that are in the industry that know me. And it's like, I'm just excited to be able to keep helping impact people by me proving these strategies. But people got to reason with themselves. Like, you're not the college athlete anymore. You probably, especially if you don't do it for your job, you're an attorney and you used to play ball. It's just like, it's different. And you just have to know, like, but what can I stay to? What can I be consistent with? What is my new fucking strategy? The old strategy isn't fucking working. Like, so I think like people figure that out. There's a lot of power there,
This episode is supported by ALLSMITH Apparel. And honestly, this isn't just merch. It's a reminder that growth is forged, not found. That discipline is care. That consistency is freedom. That community is medicine. We created ALLSMITH for the people chasing something deeper than just aesthetics. People building businesses, healing, starting over, showing up tired, but showing up anyway. People truly seeking edges. When you wear ALLSMITH, you're not just wearing a logo. You're wearing a mindset, a conversation starter, a flag for people who believe movement, mindset, adversity, and intentional living can help shape a beautiful life. We are ALLSMITHs. Check out our latest apparel drops and our ALLSMITH apparel at allsmith.co. And thank you for helping us build this thing together. What are your thoughts on everything you just said, which is, I know what to do, and I used to do it in college. I've been around that type of energy. I'm clearly not doing it now. How do we create buy-in for people to simply hire a coach? Because the fitness world's kind of weird. Like for me, like I've always had a coach. And then when I lost both my parents, it's like, hey, I'm gonna hire like a healer. I need to navigate like my inner child. I need to navigate some of the stories that I tell myself. Like I need to upgrade my operating system mentally, physically, and emotionally so I can be the man that I want to be. But oftentimes there's this egotistical nature of like, oh, I know what to do. But then people don't do it. What advice would you give for the high performer? That's exactly what you just said, which is, hey, maybe I used to be this athlete. Now life's gotten a hold of me. I'm an attorney. I'm a doctor. I got busy responsibilities. I got kids. How do they kind of regain and rekindle that confidence so that way it doesn't feel like the version of themselves is slipping out of their hands?
Well, what I remind people is, it's not your fucking job. It's my job. It's not your fucking job. It's your hobby. This isn't my hobby. I have to remind people that it started as my hobby. It's not my fucking hobby. Your cousin that does it part-time, the way that you used to be in shape, that's not the same as me. We're not the same. We are not the fucking same. I learned from fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and Louis Simmons. And I've applied these things at the highest level of the industry. We are not the fucking same caliber of people, like in that realm of craft. So like when you automatically like, I should be able to do it, yes, but it's not fucking happening. So why not go get somebody that actually will keep you accountable, actually understands what needs to happen, and lives it just like you live your job? And I think often in our profession, because it's so many people's hobby, and some people are really good at it. Some people are maybe stronger than us or more jacked or whatever, but they do something else. That happens all the time. But I'm a professional at this. And everything that you can read about showcases that to be true for a really long time, now almost 30 years. So I think when some people take out, maybe they're a little arrogant and don't want to be coached in this because they don't want to really be held accountable because it's hard. To eat good and train is hard, specifically when it's not your gig. So I think it's multiple things, but I think my biggest thing that I explain to iPerformer is, this is my job and it's your hobby, or was. And you might have been good at it at one time. I was never a good attorney. I was never a good doctor. I was never good at engineering. Not good at that. But I'm really fucking good at this because I worked at it and built this craft and myself and put myself through all these protocols and all this stuff. Like, I know exactly what to do with you. And if you would like to quit like being willy-nilly and wiggly and not getting what you want, then come over here and I can actually like show you the fucking way, because it's not my hobby. I think when people kind of get outside of that, it helps a lot. And that might sound like a little bit arrogant to say, but the reality is it's just the truth, and I've proved it to be true, and I'm confident that I can help people at pretty much all levels at this point because I've worked with all levels. And so it's like, I just remind them that you might think that you should have the same discipline as me potentially. And some people do, but the reality is it's different because it's actually my profession. And I remind my friends
that's
that
so
quite
well
a bit.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so well said. Discipline is remembering what you want most. How has discipline become your greatest competitive advantage?
Oh, because I know how much people lack it. I just know it to the highest degree, Bryce, that I understand how the alarm clock represents the comfort. I understand how the diet is so hard for people to stay on. I understand the vice boundaries that slip people up. And I understand how they've also gotten away from me at times. But the reality is we are all attempting to keep it on the tracks for periods of time to keep momentum straight, like in motion. And if you can find a way from intrinsic, extrinsic, a combination of both, to lean on those things when you don't want to do certain things. And I've got a whole situation of like how I operate to keep myself on the momentum track. Then it becomes a period of time where your separation is so evident that you then get addicted to more of that feeling. Meaning, and I just had this conversation earlier today, you can do an inventory on life and go, what am I giving into on a regular basis that's leaving all this other shit on the table? What am I not doing, or what can I add or subtract that can keep me on, this track of momentum in life and development? And I just don't know that people really take an inventory on that type of stuff. And I do on a regular basis pretty often say like, I've been drinking a little bit too much on the weekends. Maybe I need to cut it out for a little bit. But I like drinking bourbon and smoking cigars. I'm not giving it up. I know there's a whole movement on that right now. That's not me. I fucking put it all in during the week, and I want to go have a bourbon with my wife and smoke a cigar with my friends. I'm fucking doing it. Like, I learned from Arnold, like, it's okay to have a little dysfunction with all the discipline. Like, there is, and it's not even a balance, it's integration, because it's still 97% discipline in 3%.
Dude, I love that you say that, because I like that word integration, because oftentimes everybody's always like, oh, it's life balance. Like, no, it's not. It's harmonization.
Yes.
I view it as like, hey, you're going to have this thing harmonized into the interwoven fabric of your day-to-day life, but you create those buffers because you're disciplined Monday through Friday. You create the space to do the things on Saturday, Sunday. The problem is people want to indulge Saturday, Sunday, and then that becomes indulging on a Thursday, indulging on a Friday. And then all of a sudden, those standards start to depreciate over the course of time, especially with the art of what so many people are doing right now, escapism, in pursuit of dopamine, the comfort crisis that we're experiencing. What coaching cues do you have for people to download the consistency of do the next right thing Monday through Friday, and then it gives you space to go play Saturday, Sunday?
Are you getting what you want out of this life? Are you in the heading the proper direction? Like, what do you really want? And I just say, like, are those things that are slipping you up during the week, like, are they contributing to that? Are you further away or closer to it? It's like, you got to really just take an audit on, like, what do I really want? Am I okay with where I'm at? Some people's answer is yes. That's not my answer. And at periods of time, they're more serious than others, but it's like, I don't know. It's real black and white to me, to be straight, Bryce. And like, a lot of people are like, I don't know how you still get up. I made the decision, I get up. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what else to fucking tell you. Like, my alarm goes off, I hit it, and I get up, unless I'm projectile vomiting or I flew in at midnight the night before. I'm up. There's no, like, I don't have a negotiation with myself. Like they say non-negotiable, I'm actually non-negotiable. Like that is like just what it is. And so when people like, well, dude, you've done enough, just start sleeping in. I don't know. Like it just, it doesn't make sense to me because I know what I get for the discipline. And a lot of people are like, this is so boring. Okay. Is winning boring? Because I don't think winning's fucking boring. You might think my day-to-day is boring, but I'm getting what I want out of this life and I'm squeezing everything that's fucking there. To me, that's not fucking boring.
Here's the thing. I had this great conversation with one of my really awesome friends and clients. And we discussed this last night. He's in his 50s and he does jiu-jitsu a couple times a week, comes in to train with me 4 times a week. And he looked at me the other day and he goes, people want to be fucking entertained in the gym. They're thinking that like because they're on social media and they're seeing this constant variety principle and they're seeing all these different forms of HIIT training, they're getting psychologically distracted towards like, oh, should I be doing that? Should I be doing that? Should I be doing that? And he goes, it's not about being entertained. It's about doing the things that are creating adaptation, that are creating change, that are moving the needle closer towards the life that you want to live. Modern day, dude, so many people are chronically distracted or they're listening to some influencer that looks great, manipulate their headspace to think that that's right. But it's like, you got to look at the people that have been doing it for a really long time and are honest around the things that make sense. Eat real food, move often, pick things up and put them down, treat people appropriately, put your damn grocery cart away. Yep. For some reason, mastering the mundane is not sexy anymore, but it fucking works. What are your thoughts on this consistent desire for people to want to be entertained within their health and wellness journey? This episode is brought to you by our friends over at Bubs Naturals. Look, wellness can get noisy. There's tons of conflicting information out there. A million supplements, a million opinions. But what I truly appreciate about Bubs is that they keep things simple. Hydration, collagen, and creatine. Real tools that support real people trying to perform better, recover better, and simply show up better for their life. I use their products consistently, whether it's hydration after training, collagen to support recovery, or creatine for performance, strength, brain health, and longevity. These are staples in my routine. But what I really respect is the mission behind the brand. Bubs truly honors legacy, adventure, service, and living life fully. If you're an athlete, an entrepreneur, a parent, a weekend warrior, or somebody truly trying to feel a little bit more human in your body, give them a look. Use code ALLSMITH to support your wellness, your journey, and support what we're building here with the ALLSMITH podcast. Because feeling better isn't just about vanity, it's about capacity. And capacity changes lives. Make the rest of your life the best of your life.
Well, there's a couple things. First off, I never reference it as exercise. I'm always training, right? That's just a more serious way to look at it. Like, what are we training today? Not what do we exercise? What are we fucking, talking about? Like, it's not, I never really viewed it that way because I always took it real serious. And I think the people that deal with me kind of know that's like part of the game. Like, hey, this is like time to really like put some work in, especially because I've shrunk the time frame kind of that's needed, right? Too, with some of the new techniques and the protocols. So like, give me what you really got in that time frame. I think the other thing is that like, I talk about this all the time, like entertain over like education at this point is crazy to me. Like I don't even, so if you're around me and you start referencing movies, I don't even know any of them. I know Old School and Goonies. Outside of that, bro, I don't even watch, and maybe Terminator 2.
Hold on. You better know The Sandlot.
I know The Sandlot because when I was a little kid, I watched.
That's my favorite movie of all time.
Like, dude. I don't do a lot of that type of stuff. Not because it's like when I'm going to watch something, it's either one show with my wife at night before I go to bed, or it's like I'm developing myself. I go to education over entertainment. I have for a really long time. Some people aren't about that, but I never viewed myself as a smart person because of all of those things I talked about early, right? So I knew I had to educate myself on business, financial IQ, marketing. So I was constantly intentionally studying for the last 25 years in the morning, once again, working in the dark, studying in the dark, separating myself all these years in these early morning hours. So I just have a default. I think a lot of people are defaulted the other way. I would say even when I'm scrolling on social media, it's because I got on to Gary Vee or Lewis Howes. It's like that type of content. And so I would just say,
me too, man. I love listening to some of those guys and curating the algorithm for self-improvement.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Because the way people say things is dope.
Yeah, I think just thinking about, am I entertaining myself when I'm listening to podcasts, or am I actually saying, no, I need to learn more about this, so I'm searching out that information. So even that intentionality I think is really important, Bryce. And I think a lot of the stuff that I say on a regular basis, I don't even know if people think about, to be straight. Mm-hmm. And I am always thinking about it because I'm thinking about the chess game on how Cory gets better. And as Cory gets better, then I can teach the people that want to get better, that, are in my groups I help with and my customers. And so I'm learning to teach, bro. And that's what I'm pulled to do now because it happened for me. I often remind people this. Some people will go their whole life and never meet somebody in person that actually lived their dream. I'm that person. At the highest level, it surpassed all of the things I thought was possible, that my mind could even grasp in the early days, right? It happened to me and I made it happen, right? And so I feel obligated to teach how it got there. It's just not, everybody just doesn't want to sign up for it, and that's okay too, but I feel obligated to explain what it really takes. And that's what I've been doing, more of.
I like that, man. The other thing that I appreciate is that you document it. I think oftentimes I want to give the middle finger to my phone and be like, no, this is my personal time. I'm going to go train and I don't feel the need to get a pat on the back. I don't feel the need to have my wife or a videographer video this set of T-bar rows and heavy back squats. I'm just no, this is who I am. This is my character. And I think energy always wins. If you do the next right thing and you're putting in the work, the way you move, the way you carry yourself, the energy that you project, it's going to show. But there is something to be said around the world feeling oh, I didn't see it. Did it happen?
Yeah.
And I know specifically where I don't train where I coach anymore. I like creating that separation because for 20 years, I always trained where I worked, and I'd have 400 plus pounds on my back, and I'd have a client come up and be like, hey, I got a quick question. And it's it's tough on the focus. It's tough on creating boundaries for yourself when you're at a certain place of volume within clients. There's not a lot of boundaries anymore because for doctors, there's buffers or there's barriers to get access to them. For us, we're forward facing, which can be beautiful. It can be motivating. It can also be a huge distraction. And so I've decided to create that separation. But as a byproduct, some of my peers or different things are oh, you obviously look fit, but I don't see you train that much anymore. What are your thoughts on the funny psychological component of didn't video it, didn't happen, because it's absolute bullshit, but it's funny to the social media eye that's being trained modern day?
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of what world we're living in. So it also depends on what do you need to grow your business. If your business doesn't really require that, all of my business is online. So it does require that, right? And I've had, the same videographer for 7-8 years, you know what I mean? He's coming in a little bit because we got to do a podcast. And the reality is that's just been my life. And I chose to spend that money and invest into myself early on. And I'll tell you why. I saw the archives. Arnold's a whole different level, clearly, but I saw the archives of all the stuff that he has. I saw the archives of some other people when I was out in the the amount that they were able to reuse. And I was like, I have to capture everything, because I do think Louis had less of that stuff. And I think it hurt him a little bit because, look, there's a mystique to West Side that's unbelievable, right? That's why I love it so much there. But the reality is, if he had more of that content, just a little bit more, it would have been fucking awesome. And they just don't have that much because he fucking hated it. And so I just learned from what I saw with Arnold and what I thought I wish I could have got from Louis more, because I was around them both. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do my version of that and capture. I had somebody at 4 a.m. every morning for years. Multiple things, being like right now, my son's helped me with AI integration, and like the AI can go through thousands of my videos and podcasts and understand then what the algorithm wants to see from me. And like, it's like, because I've done so much content so consistently for so long, it's a plus in so many different areas. So I think, I also look at it like even Instagram, like one big fucking scrapbook of my life, basically, bro. Like, I could
That's
go back
how I think of it too.
Tell stories for years on just like pictures, and I would 100% forget almost all of that. So I dislike what some of it's become. Straight up, bro, if I could go to a flip phone and get away with it, I would do it 100%. I told my wife, I said, I don't know if I didn't have to, if I would. I know what I represent to so many people for like motivation on a regular basis. So I think that's what would pull me back to it. But it's been a fight for me, because I do feel like I'm living a truthful, real, like authentic situation. And that's not what's being really awarded a lot of the times. And so that's a little frustrating when you're posting things and like it's not being seen because of maybe certain things or whatever. But all in all, I think like, I just think that's just what it is for what I want to live out. So it's necessary.
Do you ever feel like you have to be performative because the camera's always around? The pictures are always being taken. And like in some ways it's like accountability, because it's like, hey, like it's a little tap on the shoulder of like, hey, are you who you say you are? And so that's a positive side of it. The other side of it is like, how much of it is working out where you're constantly pushing and like, hey, I feel this way, fuck my feelings, I'm going to push forward, I'm going to do the thing because I said I was going to do the thing, I'm going to keep promises to myself, keep building confidence, this has worked. But then maybe life happens, maybe there's grief, maybe there's injuries, maybe there's financial distress, maybe there's something going on with a family member. At that point where you're forced to work in instead of work out, how have you navigated some of those experiences in your life where, maybe you're not feeling your best? Maybe the reframe feels like a version of toxic positivity. How do you kind of check yourself when life gets HDR, heavy, deep, and real?
Well, that's a lot, because if you're living a pursuit of a different kind of life, you're going to encounter that constantly, right? And the way I've battled that is the non-negotiables of like two things. One, I'm getting up to do something I love. Even if I'm having a shitty day, even if I got financial distress, even if I've got shit going on, I want to lift weights, bro. Yeah, I love it. Like, I love it. So I'm getting up out of bed. My wife would be like, I can't even believe you bounce out of bed like that. Like, I'm getting up to do the thing that I can't believe I get to do. So that's not even a thing for me. Like, I very rarely miss or sleep in or whatever. And it's like, so that kind of handles that. Now, if that was at 10 a.m., might not be as structured, because I would have had other things that could have, and that's why it ended up at 4 a.m., because no one could stop it. I felt unstoppable at 4 immediately. Like, I had plenty of time. And if you read back in the old Carnegie stuff, they talk about a 3-hour window every morning. And a lot of people can't identify, like, that's a lot of time. Like, I don't got that time. Well, when you get up at 3:30, you do. And so, like, there's a magical amount of time that a lot of these OGs have talked about for development, work on themselves, maybe had fitness, whatever back then. I've kind of had that for like a really long time. And I immediately felt, and I just went from 5 to 4. I was at 5 for like fucking 5 years. I've been at 4 since 12, 13, I don't know, something like that. It's been a long time. And so like, but I felt like everything went another notch as soon as I did that. And so I think like that handled like that is really important. I think the other stuff, like performative wise, I know when you're not going to get my best. So I don't stress. So like if I had I would have never had a meeting with a spreadsheet before I did this today. Not a fucking chance. My brain doesn't really work that way. Although I have to make it work that way in business, you're not going to get anything out of me after that. Like it turns off a part of my brain. So like if I'm going to do the best version of creative stuff, it's usually right after I'm done doing conditioning. That's why I shoot a lot of my daily fires. I do a lot of my stuff at the track. That's when I'm thinking the most clearly. You want me to do some banger thing at 1 o'clock after I've done a whole day of business that wasn't that fun? Fuck off. Like it's just not going to happen. So I think I learned my spots and understanding when you're going to get the best version of Cory that you probably want. And so I don't have to perform. It's just me. See, that's the thing is like, now there has been times where I'm like, oh, this sucks. And I got to wake up. But the reality is I can just get perspective on, oh man, I get to do this. I don't have to do this. Right. But I think strategizing where I know I'm going to be the best version of what's needed in that area of time has a lot to do with it. Like I just don't schedule certain things at certain times because I just know how I am. Part of that is that true bred entrepreneur of not being really told what to do, like having your own schedule. I'm very not, it's funny is I just started having a schedule like 2 years ago, like where I actually keep it. So I wouldn't miss stuff like this, or I have some one-on-one coaching clients that I work with that do a bunch of different things. And like I had to schedule for myself. Other than that, bro, I just show up. Like I know I'm going to be at the gym at 4 and I'm usually going to be at the office at 8 or 7, depending on what I got going on. Like, so I usually I had like very general because I don't like to be held to anything. It's just not the way that I am. And so I think, that those things, those boundaries and things have helped me kind of navigate that a ton. So I show up to do those things. I schedule them at the right times because of knowing my personality and how I am. No issue.
I like your mindset, man. It sounds to me that like you're non-compromising with the goal and with the things that work, but you're flexible in the strategy based on trial and error and the scientific experiment that is Cory Gregory, which
Facts.
is, hey, I've done these things. I have proof of concept now that I know when I'm at my best. But what's interesting, and I think a huge takeaway for listeners and people today is that works for you. I would flip the script and say, I was trained for 25 plus years to be ready for a 7:30 tip-off in basketball. I thrive at nighttime, man. Mm-hmm. And then biologically, when you look to explore that a little bit, it's like, okay, you have the hunters and gatherers that get up and go forage for things and get after it first thing in the morning. And then you have the people that stay up and burn the midnight oil that kind of protect the campfire, kind of protect at nighttime. And there is an interesting biological shift there. But I want to poke back at you a little bit and pick your brain, because it sounds to me that like you get after it in the morning, but then kind of based on a natural cortisol curve, which I'm sure you're very familiar with, you start to fade a little bit later in the day, which is obvious because you're a human. Like you're going to have to obviously turn down the operating system and plug in and recharge at some point to keep the journey going. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that there can be people that are just like, hey, I'm starting a little bit slow, but I'm finishing strong? Or do you think how you start is more important?
I think you got to test both, to your point. I don't know a ton of people that operate the way you just said. And maybe it's just because of my circle at this point. I know more people that operate in the morning than operate all night long. I do think, unless you're extremely disciplined, there's a lot of pitfalls at night. And I think that's where people get wrapped up. And there could be in the mornings too, but it feels like there's a little less for most. Yeah. I would say most people have to be at work, so they're not going to be staying up all night too. You know what I mean? But the reality is, I think like, I don't know, man. People need to identify what puts them in the best possible position to go get what is in their near future goal, if they've even set one. Like, and I just did this by trial and error and feeling and results. And then once I understood what I got for what actions I put in, very analytical from a standpoint of like, I did this, I looked this way, I got these opportunities, I was confident, and I got that account, that relationship, whatever would be in that moment. And I know it was because I studied this, did that, did this. Then I feel like if I'm choosing not to do those things, I'm choosing that I don't want that other thing too. And I have a hard time choosing that. Oh, I don't want to be prepared for these opportunities. Oh, I don't want to get a chance to show up to kill it when somebody has me on a show. I don't want that next level of business or impact. I can't really, like, that doesn't make any sense in my brain. So to me, once I identified the pattern, here's one thing I'll tell you. All I wanted to know is how to get there. If you would have told me, Bryce, when I was 19 years old, Cory, this is what the pattern is that will get you everything you could have fucking dreamed of plus some, I would have done it immediately. It took me years to find and identify the pattern through a curiosity that was absolutely relentless, because I knew who I was supposed to be. Like, I knew I was supposed to be. I used to tell myself, like, I'm meant to do great things. I felt different. I felt out of place. Arnold and I talked about this when I met him. Like, we shared this, like, his for different, but mine was like, I didn't belong in that coal mine, but I was good at it. See, that's the difference. I knew how to fucking work 70 to 90 hours a week. I was not scared underground. I could have lived that life, and I wasn't scared if I had to go back to that life because the life I was supposed to live didn't work. I just needed to know what the fuck it would take. So every calculated risk I took, I was like, well, I could just go back to being a trainer. Well, I could just go back to being a coal miner. I wasn't scared of fucking any of it, dude. And so people think when you're an entrepreneur and you've done some of the things I've done, like, you're high risk. None of this was high risk to me. It felt very calculated with the understanding, if it doesn't work, I'll go back and do that. And I was already good at that because I worked hard at it and I did well at it. And so, like, I have a whole different perspective of that type of stuff. I don't know, man. Those are the things that I've thought about on a regular basis. Like, I just wanted to identify how. Now, here's the thing is, it doesn't mean that most people will be willing to do it. Capable and willing. Mike Tomlin has this thing. He says, everybody's capable, but are you willing? I was both. And so I just need to identify the pattern, and the pattern is difficult. But then once you get the results,
I think that's the big difference maker. That's so well said, Cory.
Thank you.
Capable and willing is huge. And it sounds to me that you had this safety net of work ethic. And that's why I fall back to Cam Hanes so often, where people are like, oh, must be nice. It's like, yeah, it must be nice to run a marathon every day like he does.
Before you go to work.
Must be nice to go do the Leadville 100 on a broken foot.
Yeah.
Must be nice to get into the gym and wake up. I mean, he was waking up at 2:30 for a while when he was working in the Pacific Northwest at like a gas and electric company for years, while being a husband, while being a father, while then still being a professional bow hunter, navigating relationships, still putting out content. And I very much admire your work ethic, man, because it tells me that, like, time and time again, dude, when things don't go our way, or when the opportunities don't happen, or when people can't see what we're doing, or when the success doesn't float to the surface, it's like Henry Rollins says, man, the iron never lies. Just get back in the lab and start working, because it's not just about the weight. It's about who you become. It's about your energy. It's about how you think, the clarity, the hormone shifts. And then as a byproduct, it serves as a ripple effect into everything else in your life. And that's what's so jaw-dropping to me, that I very much appreciate from your energy and your storytelling, is that, like, to me, it's like patterned. It's so fucking obvious. You take care of yourself, everything else will take care of itself. Yeah. But people are seemingly avoidant of the gym or the work, and then they're hoping that they can make it up over here. Oh, I'm just focused on business in this season of life. Like, I'm going to let my health go a little bit. It's like, no, you're an idiot. Like, focus on the thing that's going to create the domino effect.
Yeah. Here's what gets messed up, though. Because fitness is my business, people confuse the two. My business does well because of the way I keep myself. Like not just the way I look, but the way I am. And so people confuse that if they take that, and I have all the clients I coach don't have anything to do with fitness. So I have like engineers and ADs that are starting side businesses and like jet engine part coating, like dude, wild companies, right? Nothing that has to do with fitness. And I'm like, you take the approach, you will kill everybody in what you do. People don't understand because, and I think that's what get confused. If I did something else, but still was this way, then more business people are like, oh, that's the key. They're messing up. They're missing the point. Because I'm this way, my business has done these things that have been life-changing for me. And that's what people got confused. So when you apply these principles, intentional learning, early wake up, training, no brain fog because of the way you're eating, no insulin, crazy spikes, like all of these things, like in consistency, like, and apply them and you do something completely different, your separation is crazy. Some of my clients, like, they just keep getting raises, keep getting bumps because they're like, their superiors keep coming to them going, yo, we just know we can count on you. You're reliable. We know you're going to show up. You're fucking locked in. Because he's locked in all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so like, I've preached that to the people that I help. And I'm like, you want to go kill everybody? Treat it that serious. And see how different it is. See how much of a difference you're going to stand out because of how fucking about it you are compared to probably everyone else that you fucking work with. It's just the fucking truth. And so like, it's just,
you're getting me fired up over here, man. This is dope. I want to hit you with some rapid fires real quick, and then we'll wrap things up today.
I got about 25 athletes waiting on me out in the gym, so let's go.
Awesome. The fitness industry changes every year. What are some of the timeless principles that you lean on?
Oh, volume, bro. Like people were tripping on volume. Oh, well, but listen, the golden era guys, although took drugs, had a crazy amount of work ethic and volume, and their physiques are still looked at as some of the best ever. And people think the 3 sets of 12 or whatever that they're reading in the drug magazines are going to change their body. They're fucking tripping. It's the opposite. Oh, I don't think I could do volume because I'd have to take drugs. Volume forces the body to change. The other shit that you're reading, those guys are taking so many drugs you don't even understand. So like volume to me, even the lunges is a great example. I lunge every day 400 to 800 meters, can still deadlift almost 500 pounds. Not because I deadlift, because I lunge. And the volume is to be true. Last story around that, I lunged 800 meters. I was pretty heavy at this point, like for me, like 205. So I was lunging 400 to 800, went to a CrossFit gym. They said it was a max front rack lunge. Never even tried it in my life before. You rack it like a front squat, lunge, knee got a touch, single each. I did fucking 315. Had no clue I was that strong. No clue.
Wow.
Never even tried the move before. I front squat. I could front squat maybe like 330 at the time. Never even tried it. So volume to me is still something that will never not be true in my mind, and that you can always train that way or start training that way, and it prepares you, connective tissue strength, endurance, strength, everything. Most of those fucking 70s guys were 500-pound benchers, and none of them were doing powerlifting workouts. So that's one of them that I think that's always true.
I love Mark Ripeto's approach. Like, if you're not afraid of the weight, then it's not heavy enough.
Yeah, I feel that.
I mean, you definitely need load to create adaptation, obviously stress. Cory, how has becoming a husband and a father changed your definition of winning?
Oh man, it's part of it, the whole thing. Like part of, I wrote a book called I'm a Dad. It's on Amazon. It's a real easy read, like an hour. And I explain exactly the questions I asked myself of things I wanted to change and be different than what I experienced. And sometimes the best way to understand how you want to be different is to have, the things actually happen that you would never replay. And so I think it sparks a lot of questions for people that maybe they've never asked themselves or never thought about. But it changed a lot about me, because part of this process of changing generations was changing that narrative too, because I wasn't close with my dad. He left when I was 11. He passed away in a car accident when now it's been about 20 years. And although I was talking to him at the time, we just didn't really have that good a relationship. And so I just wanted it to be dramatically different. And so being a parent is very healing to me. So I would say that's how it changed a lot about it. And I think it kept me from being an absolute maniac, because at points in my life, I did make changes or not move places or do things because I had a family, because I wanted to stay in Ohio. And I don't feel any certain way that it ever held me back. I just think that I'd made changes to how I flew in and flew out and things I did. And I wanted to be a person that accomplished these things, and my family still wanted to be around me when I was old. And thankfully it's cool that way. And it was really important to me.
Yeah. The other thing I'm hearing there is that ready is not a time, it's a decision. I'm ready to do this thing and I want to do it in this location. I'm going to make it happen. Yeah. And there's a conviction that comes from that. And that conviction is a level of confidence that I think dissipates or marinates the tribe or the people around you.
Facts.
What advice would you give to a young coach who's trying to build a brand and is also working towards building trust within his community?
You got to fucking live it. I fucking live it. This is not on accident. Like I said, first powerlifting meet at 17, last one at 44. Every fucking year I competed multiple times. Every year I was on stage. Multiple years, 10 years I was doing that. Like, I'm always pushing myself to have a time where I have to be ready. The lights were going to be on me. I had to force an accountability so I could explain to these clients that they could trust me because I fucking lived it. And I never wanted that to be, like, I'd say, like, you got to be good in your, like, fucking local gym before you can be international trainer or whatever. Like, don't jump the fucking line. Like, do the things, learn the craft. Who gives a fuck about the comparisons? Like, work on yourself. Like, work on yourself. Put yourself on display. Put yourself on fucking blast. Expect more out of yourself. People will start to be like, yo, whatever's going on with that person, something different. Like, I fuck with that. Like, I bet they can help me. Like, I'm going to go watch them at their show. I'm going to go watch them at their CrossFit comp. I'm going to go, like, be the person that they truly want to be led by. Not like, I'm not telling anybody anything. I'm just doing the thing and then figuring it out. And you're going to understand it because I'm different than everyone else. And
I love this conversation because it comes back to, like, entrepreneurship is the best, like, self-improvement thing you can do because it's a mirror. It holds you accountable. It reveals all of your inadequacies. It shows your speed. It shows where you're coming up short. And as a byproduct, as you talked about earlier, I am ... is revealing to everything else that comes next. If I am the person, it will unlock certain doors and certain levels to the game.
Yes.
If you stop being that person, you might be coming up short in a few different arenas of life. And I appreciate that you hold that standard for yourself. What's something that you've kind of changed your mind on in the last 10 years in relation to fitness and wellness?
I just think don't discount something you don't know about until you live it for a period of time to have a real educated answer. And I'll tell you why. I thought intermittent fasting was the dumbest shit of all time because I had done 5 meals a day, had good results from it, but I had a hard time maintaining those looks with that style of diet. I tried intermittent fasting, but I just kind of naturally ate how I normally do, which was like more like an anabolic diet, like from R.D. Pasquale, who I learned from too. And then I created my own version, which I called anabolic fasting. It was super successful on my app and had the cheating protocols, pull this stuff. I don't even figure that out. It changed my business like at the multi-million-dollar level if I don't go through it. And then have a real educated answer for somebody on Twitter that's like, what do you think about intermittent fasting? I'm like, God, it's fucking stupid. Like, you're going to get small. Couldn't be further from the truth. I was stronger, bigger, crazier, maintained it, had more integration than I ever had. Like, it was unbelievable how it changed. And then so even now, like, I'm trying like a carnivore version of that. I call it anabolic fasting extreme. I still have my own tweaks and things I'm doing, but like 2-3 weeks in it right now, I feel fucking awesome. And so, like, don't really speak on something until you experience it, like truthfully. And it's like, you know, I'd rather go through it for 2 weeks, a month, whatever, and then, you know, uncover what I truly believe about it. So I don't really talk about things or teach things I don't live. I tell my kids out in the gym, I still help some athletes that are my son's age, and they play baseball, football, basketball, different kind of age groups. And like, I'm like, yo, I'm not going to ask you to do anything I've never done or can't do.
Yep.
And don't trip. Like if you don't, like I'll go out and do box jumps with them and some beat some of the kids and like that are good athletes. Like they know I'm about it. So they listen differently. I have a different, like I don't take everybody. It's invite only. Like, you know, I talk direct, like you're fucking up. I'm telling you. And like, if your parents don't like it, then I don't need your fucking whatever you pay me. Like, so I think that there's, like I'm also the coach they trust and respect because they know they can come to me with stuff, but there's a standard that I like to keep. And because not everybody can just come and sign up for it. So it's like, I don't know, there's a mix of like how my approach is there, but I feel like the impact because of that unconventional nowadays kind of vibe of direct talk and accountability, like I'm getting like a lot of progress with these kids.
Dude, I love that it's direct, and it's a great observation to point out that it's unconventional now because it seemingly is offensive or will hurt people's feelings. But it's funny because I got married a year and change ago, and my wife loves words of affirmation. And she doesn't understand like why words don't land that well for me because I'm like, baby, I've been cussed out so many different times.
Yeah.
In basketball, in training, in different forms and fashions to kind of push the needle or get some sort of motivational factor, corrective, constructive criticism that like, I've just kind of gotten to the point where like you could say whatever and it's just like noises coming from an animal's mouth. Like I'm not offended by it, but modern day words really matter. And so it's just an interesting observation that you pointed that out, that direct approach. I think the honest entrepreneur and honest human appreciates it because, in my opinion, truth is the highest form of love. Bro.
And like the funny thing is I had like a night at the island the other day where I had all the kids come out and their families and stuff come out, all the kids I train. And we had all the, you know, I got outdoor racks and I had dumbbells everywhere. I cut the music. It's like, I need everybody before they leave, pick up the fucking weights and put them in the indoor gym. So I ain't got to do that shit at 5 a.m. And everybody kind of looked at me. I'm like, that's exactly how I talk to everybody in the gym. So I don't know if you guys didn't know that, but and like, dude, like clockwork, all the guys, boom, get everything. Mm-hmm. Like it just, I talk to them like they're grown men because they fucking are. Like when here's the thing. I was a boy who worked with men. That's the difference. When I was a coal miner at 18, 19 years old, I worked with fucking real men that have been underground 20, 30, 40 years. You think they're sugarcoating shit to me? Yo, motherfucker, go get the wrench. Yo, fucking strong guy, I thought you were strong. You can't even fucking get that bolt off. Yo, I'll see you in 16 hours with the shovel as your back's rubbing the ceiling. They don't give a fuck, bro. They don't give a fuck. To me, that's how I learn. So why am I caring about your feelings? If you're here to get better and I'm your coach and I'm telling you, yo, that ain't it. Like, I'm not your parent and I'm not even a fucking school coach. So I'm in this, and I don't need your money. So I'm in this vortex of like, I'm doing it for the love. I'll take your money because of my time. But the reality is if you ain't about it, I ain't got time. And I'm at the point in my career where now I'm drawing the kids that they love being here. They get to do this. They understand that the old school gym mentality sets them up for life, not just for the sport they want to play. And that they always know what the standard looks like. I take a lot of pride in that because my kids are killers, man. Like they're going to go play their sport in college or do whatever, but I know I got them set up for life if they just understand what standard they learned here in or around what's going on here. They see the people coming through here. They see the way we're operating. They see the business because it's max efforts in the back part and then, you know, the old school gyms in the front part. So it's like they're able to see the entrepreneur spirit at the same time. So I take a lot of pride in that, man.
I like that. The OG mentality, dude. Finish this sentence. A meaningful life isn't built by blank.
I don't think it isn't built by admiration of others. It's built, honestly, by admiration of yourself. Like, you know who you are and what you're about, what you like, what you dislike, what you want for yourself, what you see yourself doing. You know, at first you want to bling out because you want people to think a certain thing. A lot of the times when I bought material items, it was because I was poor and I just wanted them for myself. I didn't really care about what anybody else thought. I wanted the Rolls Royce, the Rolex, all those things because I wanted them because I was poor growing up and I wanted to experience them. But the reality is, you know, there was people that I did care of what they thought. There are people I respected. I ain't never cared if you don't live it. If you don't live it, I ain't listening, bro. I don't give a fuck who you are. I have to really respect you. I'm very coachable to the right person, extremely uncoachable to everyone else.
Yeah, I feel that. We work with a lot of Navy SEALs, and that's kind of the energy they want too. They want to make sure you live it. You don't create buy-in unless you're living it. Last one, my man. If tomorrow everything disappeared except your relationships, your character, your health, what would matter most to you?
Oh, my relationship with my kids, man. Like, it's to be able to forge an entirely different life and be able to teach them the things where I didn't have direction, to go live what they actually want to do. See, all of this, I don't care whether they want to be a teacher, an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter to me. My wife was a kindergarten teacher. And I just want them to be able to do what they want to do, not what they have to do. Now, you have to do things to get to what you want to do, meaning everybody got to work. It's just what it is. So once again, it comes back to the first conversation. There was so much pain associated with that. I wanted to forge a life where they could go take part in what they want to pursue, which scratches their itch, which makes them fulfilled, and still then obviously pays their bills because I'm not paying them. And, that's the part that they're getting, because I got 21, 18, and 15. And so boy, girl, boy, that's what they're getting ready to get into, is like this next part of life. And I'm really excited about the relationship that I've created and have with them to help them with that. It's really important to me.
I love that you mentioned that, man. Community seems to be the thing that keeps people alive the longest. Obviously, you can talk about leg strength, grip strength, and cardiovascular fitness, but community and relationships seem to be the things that continually come up time and time again. And obviously, the most important there is the relationship with yourself. And I love the fact that you used the word forge there, just because part of our ALLSMITH motto is forged, not found, and consistently doing the next right thing to pursue a beautiful life. So today's conversation was super fun, man. If you could leave somebody or some of our listeners with one message that maybe you hope they put in their back pocket or tattoo on their mind today, what's something that you'd leave people with?
I'll give you two. Abraham Lincoln quote that I have tattooed right here, right beside my great-grandfather that passed away in the coal mine explosion, and right below my trailer. To believe in things you can see and touch is no belief at all, but to believe in the unseen is a triumph and a blessing. You have to be able to see it here before you can see it here. And the reality is, I think there's a lot of people that only believe it when I see it. Well, when you can see it, there's a reason why it's there. It's because you're supposed to go pursue it or put action around it or whatnot. So maybe it can become 3D. I've always seen things in my mind first and then put action around them to make them become real. And a lot of times they become more real than I ever could have dreamed them to be, honestly, even better. Second one is consistency is a superpower available to everyone. It's the easiest thing to understand and the hardest thing to execute. And that's from me. Because the reality is, I know what I do and how consistent I am. And I know how easy the concept is. But I see how hard it is for everyone else to execute. And I tried to make it as easy to execute for me so I could create separation with what I want to create for my family. And I think if you can understand the daydream and the action with the consistency and the execution, you can get a lot of what you want out of this life.
Mic drop, man. That was phenomenal. Holy shit. I mean, we could just cut that up and that just summarizes the whole fucking podcast right there, man. That was dope, dude. Hey, Cory, where can people find you, man? If people want to learn more about you, your programs, see that body and that mind on your 13 covers, or if they want to purchase your book, where can people find you?
Everything's at Cory G Fitness. And I'll tell you this, I was early on a lot of this stuff, including putting fitness in your IG handle. Everybody and their brother got it now, but Cory G Fitness across all platforms, CORY G Fitness. My books are all on Amazon. I've got 4 or 5 books on Amazon you can check out. And then my app is Cory G Fitness app. And then my supplement company is called Max Effort Muscle. We do some really cool stuff where if you buy supplements every month from us, we have in-person events you can come to, and it's a great community. Really proud of it. We call it the Max Effort Mafia. And so, if you DM me, man, I answer all my DMs. You guys have any questions, just let me know. Just hit me up on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cory G Fitness, real life legend, a man that lives it. It was so awesome to chop it up with you, man. I'm learning from you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, energy, and attention today. I know you've got a crew waiting on you.
I do.
Guys, if you enjoyed my conversation with Cory Gregory, please rate, review, subscribe, and share with your friends. And as always, stay on the hunt for who you've not yet become. Till next time, guys.